Greetings, YouTube. I wanted to wait to do an incursion review until, shocker, I actually did incursions. Shout out to all the content creators officially from the community who, thanks to Kabam, had early access to it and previewed it. I am definitely one of those people who I watch the videos and I kind of learn, but I learn by doing. And it's hard to really know how you're going to react to something until you actually do it. So, I jumped in last night with my Battle Room bestie, Miss Katie Candy, and I told her I felt like I was on a blind date because I was jumping into this thing that I kind of thought I knew something about, but didn't know everything about. And you can see that all rewards were earned for my milestone. You know, we had a good run. And it took two different attempts. We made it to Zone 8 and got destroyed. If you want to enjoy watching your boy get absolutely wrecked, just check out the live stream from last night in which it was very apparent that I was going to die. And I tried a revive, wasted a revive. Didn't help, just threw it out the window. But one thing that I want to say that I did not realize, don't know why, but I didn't realize it until we were done, and it really is my favorite part of incursions over dungeons, because I've had people say, Prof, I know that this is better than dungeons, but I really hated dungeons, so it's going to have to be a heck of a lot better for me to actually do this. And if there's a negative, it does take longer, right? I could do a dungeon run in half an hour. Now it takes, if you're lucky, an hour, but probably closer to between an hour and an hour and a half to at least get all of the milestones, which I think takes up to Zone 8, through Zone 8 for Tier 7? Or Sector 7, I should say. When I say sectors and zones, I think of Sonic the Hedgehog, because they used to say, like, zone this and zone that, and I haven't seen that since playing basketball in middle school and high school and doing zone defense. Somebody out there's got to know what I'm talking about. But one of the things I love is that it's a 5-day timer, right? And so it's a 5-day timer, and so you'll notice when I go to my 5 stars that for the ones I used last night, of which I used 2 different teams, this is what I loved about dungeons back in the day before they changed the timers, because if you jump in on the first day, your 5-star champions will be refreshed on their own without spending that massive 80-unit recharge before day 1 of the next round of incursions. So you don't have to worry about spending units to have them refresh for day 1 of the next one, which was the case when you had these 4 to 5 day refresh timers, but dungeons refreshed every 3 days. And if you're somebody, like I know a lot of people who have a couple of good champs, like maybe you have one main good incursions attack team with 3 champions, well, once those 3 champions are done, especially if they're 5 stars, they're locked in. Now, I will say 6 stars, unfortunately, still have understandably, the same refresh timers that do not allow you to do this on day 1. So I used a 6-star Domino, and she refreshes about once every 6 days. And so I will not be able to use her until day 2 or day 3 of the next round of incursions, but that's fine. I am blessed enough to have a large 5-star roster, so I was not anticipating that. But 6 stars, you still will have that refresh time go into the next round of incursions. 5 stars, not so much. But besides that point, the best thing about this content is that if you get stuck and you quit, you keep what you have. Whereas dungeons, if you got stuck, you took a massive loss versus if you had just left that zone. That was a brilliant move by Kabam. I don't know whose idea that was, but it was truly awesome. And speaking of truly awesome, the 5-star shards. For those of you who don't like the arena, your gold problem and the 5-star shards you'd probably usually get from grinding the arena are replaced by incursions. And if you can do a full round of incursions for an hour and a half, think about the difference between that and how long it would take you to finish in the top 10% of the 5-star featured arena, which now is hovering around 15 to 16 million minimum for that 2,000 5-star shards. You can get more than that in an hour to an hour and a half of doing incursions. Now, I still warn you, this format, when you click invite, is, you've got your friends, and then you've got that other thing, the find a partner. And let me tell you, find a partner is still MCOC Tinder. It still is trying to hook up with somebody that's not going to literally screw you over. And I have heard so many horror stories from people who will use their best team, and then the people that they jump in with won't move. If you don't know somebody, don't take that chance. Do your best to find an alliance member, have an incursion buddy, a battle room bestie buddy, formerly known as a dungeon buddy, to do this with, somebody you trust and count on that's not going to screw you over and hurt the refreshes of your team. Lastly, because I wanted to keep this video well under 10 minutes, I think that the hacks are the equivalent to me of like adding on a special ability in Mortal Kombat back in the day, or NBA Jam, or I used to play a couple of games that gave you certain abilities on the Super Nintendo, one of them being Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. And then just in general, it's fun to see champions do things that they shouldn't do. Last night, I was doing crazy incinerate damage with Nick Fury. And then if you do have incinerate damage, like Domino with Red Hulk, the incinerate damage goes from 2,000 or 3,000 per tick to 6,000. So suddenly, yeah, you're fighting a defender that's got 35, 40,000 PI overall, which would normally, honestly, make me very nervous. But your attacker basically has the equivalent of that with these hacks that you add on. And it really does reward skill so much more than dungeons, which was my takeaway first when I saw this. Because if you don't get hit and you don't lose health, you don't have to use up the hack of healing or reviving, and so you can add on another buff to make you more powerful. I will say that you really want to stick, when in doubt, to the team you bring, because if you switch up champs, you will fight that first champion noted, and that will hurt your chance of surviving health as easily. Not saying you can't do it, of course, but it's just more difficult, and that's how it should be. So really think out who your best team is going to be, and also look ahead and see who the mini boss is going to be before you go left or right, because a couple times I made that mistake where I just kind of looked at, I can fight one of these two champs on the left or one of these two champs on the right, and I look up at the mini boss and I'm like, oh no, I'm unprepared for that. Why didn't I look ahead? So taking a few seconds to look ahead before you make a decision on which direction to go, left or right, makes all the difference. So I love incursions. This is why you should do it for an hour and a half, especially you in-game players. You will get more than what you would have gold-wise in the 5-star featured arena for both units and gold, gold and 5-star shards. You also get dungeon artifacts, which give you, of course, a pretty fast track to an additional 5-star, whether that be a featured in the artifact store or a 5-star basic crystal. And it's fun, right? This is the most fun I've had playing the game. All the hype of it being fun, and it's because of the hacks, is correct. And so I encourage you to try this out, but find somebody you trust. Don't make this MCOC Tinder. Ironically, you will be screwed over.